Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. So happy to have you here. Today we're talking about winter wellness and self-care, specifically things that don't cost a lot of money to incorporate. It's finally that time of year where it's cold, the days are shorter, it takes just a little bit more energy to get out of bed in the morning, or maybe that's just me, and maybe this is a little bit disingenuous because I live in Florida, but we still get a little bit of chill here, right? It does get into the 40s at night, especially this time of year. It's definitely more chilly. And I used to go to school in the Chicagoland area, so I feel a little bit qualified to talk about the cold weather things, okay? So in this video, I'll be going through a list of winter wellness and self-care activities that we can pull out of our toolkit to help us through the winter. And really all of these things we know to do, right? But sometimes it just doesn't hurt to have a little reminder, a gentle nudge. You know the drill here. We have warm drinks and blankies, so go ahead and grab yours and let's get into it. So the first winter wellness habit is making sure to get some face time with the sun. So right, that daylight exposure, preferably within 15 to 20 minutes of waking hours. As we know, getting sunlight first thing in the morning during winter is really important because it helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle or circadian rhythm, which can be especially beneficial during those shorter daylight hours and can potentially boost your mood or energy while also working to combat SAD or seasonal affective disorder. So a little bit more on circadian rhythm regulation, right? When we get sunlight into our retinas soon after waking, it signals a bunch of pathways essentially to suppress melatonin, which is our main sleep hormone, and increase cortisol, which is our main waking hormone, and essentially just kind of sets that internal clock for the day. Morning sunlight is also linked to an improved mood and can help combat seasonal depression. The girls, I get it. I know I did when I was in Chicago during school. You know, the skies were gray. We got a nice wind chill coming off the lake. It was sad girl times for sure in the winter, but as soon as late spring, summer started rolling around, I was like a whole different person. Life was good again. So definitely if you live in really like one of those colder areas, getting sun as early as you can is gonna be really beneficial. But I get it, right? If you're in an area that's particularly gray and cloudy, or maybe you can't get outside, right? So maybe you go to work and it's still dark outside, and then you spend all day in an office, you come home and still dark outside. Maybe consider using light therapy to mimic natural sunlight. And also remember, even if it's winter, we still need to use SPF, because if you can see the sun can see you, and we got those rays coming in to damage our skin, which we don't want. So remember to use your SPF. Okay, so the second winter wellness and self-care activity is drawing a cozy bath. Admittedly, I need to do this more myself because we have a big old tub in the primary bathroom and I have yet to use it, unfortunately. But a nice warm and cozy bath can be such a therapeutic winter wellness ritual. Maybe adding some Epsom salt with some lavender, eucalyptus, magnesium flakes, just to help reduce that muscle tension, using essential oils, right? More of that eucalyptus, that lavender I like to put in there, keeping the temperature nice and warm, but not too hot, right? Unless you like to bathe in hellfire, then that's up to you. I love me a nice bubble bath. Put some candles up on the corners of the tub, right? I have my piece of media, whether it's right, my iPad to watch some Netflix, or maybe it's a nice book like my Kindle, nice glass of wine or a mocktail or another drink of choice, some nice mood music. I remember one of my most special memories was last New Year's Eve, so not this New Year's Eve for 2025, but last New Year's Eve going into 2024. I had cleaned the whole house for the day, and then I just like spent the night before 12 a.m. in a nice bath, just kind of washing off the day, washing off that 2023 energy, and it was just such a beautiful, cozy, you know, relaxing experience. Consider adding a bath tray. I have a nice little bamboo bath tray that I got from Amazon that kind of extends, so I can use it with just about any tub size. And usually I'll put my little book, a nice glass of wine, or maybe a mocktail. I'll add some music. I'll add some nice candles on the corners of the bathtub. I'll add some rose petals or other kind of dried flowers or leaves if I have them. And I can really just stay in there for hours. It's great. Also, I know some people are like, girl, you're bathing in your own dirt. fair. So usually I will kind of do a quick little rinse off in the shower as well after I'm done with my bath, just to make sure I'm actually squeaky clean. And then when I get out, I will, apply my body lotion, body oils immediately, just to kind of lock in that extra moisture that I'm getting. Put on a nice fluffy towel or comfy robe. Usually I'll opt to do this on like a Friday or Saturday night, kind of like a little cozy night in. And usually the quality of sleep I get after a warm bath is chef's kiss. My next winter wellness self-care activity I am very excited to talk about is reading, but specifically fiction. Reading fiction, especially during the winter months, can be such a cozy and mentally nourishing activity. While I do love a good self-improvement book, right? I have a lot of them. I think there's just something about a nice piece of fiction, right? Being able to lose yourself into worlds that people have literally created from their minds. It's just so special. It just brings back a sense of kind of nostalgia, especially like during childhood. I was a big reader during childhood, and I kind of lost that when I, started getting more serious into my academics and didn't necessarily have time for that. So it's just nice as an adult to pick up that hobby again. Currently, I actually have it right here. Currently, I am on the wave with the girls. I'm reading Fourth Wing. Today, for reference, is January 19th, so I know the third book comes out in a few days. So I already went ahead and bought Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, is it? And then I've shown on here multiple times, but I also do have a Kindle, which I think is just super easy to kind of just grab and go like in your purse. So like if I'm at the doctor's office or doing something, outside, where instead of, scrolling on my phone, I can just pull out my book instead. I think reading specifically fiction novels is really where it's at right now. I love reading in this little cozy nook. I can literally sit on my booty here for hours. If you do have the space, the budget for it, I really do highly recommend creating some type of nook. So if you don't have a cozy corner reading nook in your home, here's some things that you can consider. Identifying a quiet area of your home. This can be, a portion of your office, a corner of your room, your bedroom, a patio or balcony, a little section of your couch perhaps, and creating some comfortable seating. So this can be done with something as simple as some floor pillows, some thick blankets, or if you're able to, investing in a nice little couch daybed chair situation. This one I got from Wayfair. It's not the most expensive on the market, but it does the job. It's nice and breathable. It's comfy. I'm 5'3", so for me it's pretty long, and so I'm just able to kind of curl up into it. I also suggest adding some kind of personal touches to evoke a sense of calm and ease, right? Some lighting, some greenery if you're into that, a little bookshelf perhaps, or maybe just a stack of books, etc., etc. Some genres I recommend for winter reading. I'm a fantasy girl myself, right? I love the dragons. I love a good supernatural vampire werewolf moment, fairies, etc. Perhaps a historical fiction for like different time periods. I know that I love to watch like period pieces, so I definitely want to get more into like historical fiction for my novels. Also maybe some cozy mysteries to match, right, the winter atmosphere. Maybe consider joining a virtual book club. So you can start one with friends, or maybe there's some online book clubs that you can join. This just adds a little extra like layer of motivation, and it keeps it engaging, keeps it fun, especially during the colder months when we tend to stay indoors more and kind of isolate from people. So if y'all have any online book club recommendations, I'd love to know. Or if you want to start one, if you want me to start one, let me know. We can start a little group chat or something. Let me know down below. So the next winter wellness activity is journaling, specifically gratitude journaling and daily reflections. Journaling can be a powerful winter wellness practice, especially during those darker, colder months where we tend to be more introspective, right? Kind of matching the seasonal changes. I like to do my gratitude journaling in the morning, and then I like to bookend my day with a nice little evening reflection. I have a few videos on here speaking more about like how I've cultivated my journaling practice, how I've managed to cultivate one within 90 days, right? That 3-month timeline, and then actually stick to it for the entirety of 2024, which was one of my goals for 2024 to do so. And then I shared how I use a few different tools, right? So I'll use Notion for my gratitude and evenings reflection reflections, and then I also use a little digital journal for more of that written aspect. Some journaling prompts that I love for winter are: what is bringing me comfort this season? How can I create more cozy moments into my daily routine? What lessons and learnings has this season taught me so far? Some tips I have for journaling, specifically as someone who has been able to build and sustain that journaling habit: keeping your journal visible and accessible, just kind of reducing that friction and serving as that visual reminder for you to actually pick up your journal. I also kind of stack it into my routines. So in the morning, as part of my morning routine, I'll do my gratitude journaling, and then as part of my evening routine, an hour or two before bed, I am doing my evening reflections. I like to create a designated spot to journal, right? Usually this is my couch. And then also I like to make sure the space that I am journaling in is something that's like appealing to me, right? So I like to pretty up my digital space in Notion. If you're a fan of pen and paper, maybe designating a nice special pretty notebook or pen that you like to use. The benefits of journaling for me, specifically gratitude journaling, has been programming my mind to kind of start the day with, mindfulness and intention, always looking for the best out of situations. So even if my day has, gone to poop, at least, I'm kind of training my mind subconsciously to look for the good in those less desirable situations. And if I can't control the actual outcomes of what's happening around me, the least I can do is just control my mindset and my outlook on the situation, which I was not able to really do before because I do have a tendency to want to control everything. But ever since starting this gratitude journaling practice, I've definitely been changed for the better. So if you want to hear more specifics on this topic, I'll kind of link those videos down below. The next winter wellness and self-care activity is mindful movement. Mindful movement during winter is crucial to maintaining both physical and mental well-being. So this can include gentle yoga, stretching, or indoor walking, activities that just really help us stay active, stay mobile without being too strenuous, I think the key here, specifically during the winter months, is to just focus on those types of movement that, feel good to you, make you feel good in your body, that feel kind of nurturing and sustainable rather than, too intense or demanding, specifically if it's your kind of first time that you're implementing mindful movement. So some things I like to do specifically in the morning when I wake up, I do like to kind of get outside and get some sun and go for a little walk, maybe a little walking meditation. I like to use YouTube also for some indoor yoga, or maybe something as simple as just kind of laying out my mat and doing some gentle morning stretching, and of course Pilates. So depending on kind of where I'm at, I kind of do a little body scan. Maybe I'm in the mood for a real kind of more intermediate advanced Pilates practice that day, or maybe I'm just doing a little leg springs, a little feet in straps, right? Some spinal articulation, and calling it a day. This also kind of varies depending on where I am in my cycle. So, specifically in that follicular phase, as we all know, we're ready to lift a truck. I typically will do a little bit more of a demanding workout. If I'm in that luteal phase, if I'm menstruating at the time, I'm not trying to do nothing. So I'm usually opting for a nice soft walk, some stretching just to kind of loosen up my hips, or again, kind of getting on my machine and kind of doing some hip opener exercises, some lower back release, etc. Really just about maintaining that connection with our bodies, specifically during the winter months where we tend to get more sedentary anyway. The next one we kind of all know, it's really just curating a skincare and hair care routine that's specific to your winter needs. So for skincare, for a lot of us, we live in those climates where in the winter we tend to get dryness in our skin. So just implementing more moisturizing elements, focusing on those gentle hydrating products like a hyaluronic acid and nice rich thick moisturizers, maybe considering a humidifier specifically for that dry indoor heating. I know, for example, when I lived in Chicago, I got a lot of breakouts specifically during the winter. And now that I'm, here back down in Florida, I basically have nothing other than, those kind of hormonal breakouts here and there. Yeah, I definitely feel like for those winter girlies, moisture is the key. And also when it comes to hair care, right, we all know that, the winter weather can be really harsh on our hair, no matter the hair type, right? So for my hair in particular, right, it's kind of straight right now. I am getting the last little drop of this fluffy silk press that I can get out of it before I wash my hair, but really going back into, you know, deep conditioning, protective styling, making sure I'm using my silk pillowcases, my bonnets, scarves, etc., to just help reduce that friction and breakage, particularly in those colder months. The next one is incorporating winter comfort foods and drinks. You know, I love a good warm beverage, so for me, it is a nice matcha, maybe some coffee if I'm feeling like I need some energy. I was particularly doing this during like the holiday season. I'd have my little themed drinks, you know, my peppermint mochas, my pumpkin spice matchas. It was a good time. I love a good herbal hibiscus tea, a nice hot chocolate here or there. Also focusing on seasonal comforting meals like nice heavy soups, stews, roasted veggies. I shared this in my 2025 yearly planning video, but I really wanted to focus this year on like intentionally meal prepping, cooking, etc. And as someone who's kind of always on the go, I think making, you know, carving out time, usually it's kind of like a Sunday reset moment where I'm, you know, going to the store, I'm meal prepping, I'm just being intentional about what I'm putting in my body. But that's also a really good space, since I am cooking now, to really focus in on like making the practice of, you know, preparing food a mindful activity, really enjoying the process, right? The aromas, kind of the science of it all. Also, micronutrients are very, very important, specifically in those colder months, right? So incorporating vitamin-rich foods like vitamin D that we can get from fatty fish and eggs. You know, I love a good salmon. Also that vitamin C from like citrus fruits and those veggies, folate, zinc right from those nuts. Really good for just supporting our immune function in general, specifically during the winter. The flu, etc., is kind of like at an all-time high during the winter months. Also, right, if we're really deficient in something, consulting a healthcare professional, and then maybe they'll kind of recommend some supplements that we can take that are beneficial to address any nutritional deficiencies that we, you know, see in our blood work, etc. The next activity is creative hobbies. Because this is a time of natural slow and stillness, winter is the perfect time to explore these creative hobbies of your choice that spark joy and keep your hands and mind engaged. Activities like painting, knitting, crafting can be super therapeutic during these winter months, providing both that creative outlet, right, and also that sense of accomplishment and fulfillment with completing a task and having your creation sitting in front of you. I mentioned this in my 2025 planning video, where a goal of mine was to really invest in the creative hobbies that I used to indulge in when I was younger, right? Bringing those back now into adulthood. So some of those things for me included writing music, making music. Once I take that step to get my flute cleaned, I want to get back into playing her, right? Busting out my piano. I've also been learning guitar, so maybe making that change to kind of cut my nails down a little bit so that I can comfortably play guitar, start to learn some more chords. Also, kind of to pair with my fiction reading, I really want to get back into creative writing. During the pandemic, particularly, I was really into like little master classes that would teach you how to world build, maybe applying that to some kind of short stories just for funsies. Also, during the pandemic, I was really into painting. So I have a few little canvas paintings that I actually was surprised, right? I didn't really think I had an artistic bone in my body, particularly when it comes to drawing, but I guess painting is a different story. So I really found that painting process to be quite therapeutic for me. And I really want to have those things accessible. So similar to, for example, why I've been so consistent with filming is because literally I have this throwaway corner behind my door in my office where I have my things already kind of set up to go. Similar with journaling, I have my iPad ready to go. In my Notion, I have my journaling databases linked to my homepage. So as soon as I open up Notion, I'm able to just click and get right into it. So similarly, I want to have those things that I need for those creative hobbies kind of just out and easily accessible for me. Also, some creative hobbies that I kind of want to get into are kind of knitting or crocheting. My mom was pretty good at crocheting and she kind of taught me a little bit. She bought me this little kit when I was like a teen and I actually liked it. So I kind of want to get into crocheting again, getting the little needles and just making a cute little scarf or sweater or whatever, maybe a nice little blanket since I love me a good blanket. Also kind of addition not only to like acrylic painting that I was doing during the pandemic, maybe watercolor as well, and maybe a smaller scale version like those watercolor painting books rather than a big canvas. Scrapbooking, my friend and I were talking about this, but she really got into Polaroid, so she got a little camera. When I was maybe like 18, 19, I had the little Instax like printer, so you can print images straight from your camera roll. You can send them to that printer and it would print it out like a Polaroid. Maybe either kind of investing in a little Polaroid myself, or maybe that printer again, since I'm pretty sure I lost it. Maybe instead of digitizing those photos, adding back that like physical element. I know that, you know, in my family, we love a good photo album. And I think there's something kind of, you know, sentimental to be able to like open up a book and view those kind of cherished memories rather than just kind of scrolling through on your camera roll. And I think there's something to be said about making it kind of themed. So yeah, I think there's no better time than now to really get back into those things that we kind of used to do. We found joy in as a kid or a teenager, and just, you know, incorporating more of that into our adult lives. Okay, and then the next winter wellness self-care activity I have is just a good old rot day. A rot day is an essential form of winter self-care where you intentionally do nothing. You're not productive, you're just sitting and vibing. And that is perfectly okay, right? Because as I always say, rest is productive. So this could look like staying in your comfiest PJs all day, binge watching your favorite comfort shows, ordering takeout, or maybe lying in your bed doom scrolling if that's what you want to do. It's about giving yourself permission to fully rest and recharge from the busyness of the prior week, especially during the winter months when our bodies just kind of naturally slow down and crave that downtime. And we may need to move some things around for sure. Like I haven't had a good rot day because even my weekends are filled with things to do. But I think the benefits of scheduling rot days include mitigating and preventing burnout by proactively addressing the need for rest, reducing any winter anxiety or just seasonal stress, giving your body time to genuinely recover. And I feel this pressure too, but remember, rest is productive and it's not lazy. It's a form of self-preservation and care that helps maintain long-term wellness. Alrighty friends, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite winter wellness self-care activity is. I'd love some ideas, and I'd love to know the cozy rituals you created specifically for these colder months. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out my 2025 yearly planning video where I share more details about my goals for this year. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon, and don't forget to stay mindful. Bye.